Hello. Today we were playing NeveN. This is the newest update that came out on the 15th. This update will begin Chapter 3. It will start Chapter 3 with Akhet, and then as the months go by, it will rotate among the other 3 characters for Chapter 3. The cat sits back next to me and grabs me by the shoulder, pulling me close. That's not true, you know. Well, he just said that to hurt you. But he's not totally wrong. I have seen their looks on the street, Cat. People are afraid of me. For the moment, maybe, but they don't know you. Give them time to learn who you are. I don't know if, and not everyone's afraid of you. Look at me, I'm not afraid. You're just saying that because I'm serious, Eric. Look at me straight in the eye and tell me you can see fear. Falcon grabs me by the chin and lifts my muzzle to force me to look at him in the eye. For a brief moment I fear I might see in him while I saw in the eyes of the passers-by. But it's not there. No fear, no awe, just a look of someone who is there for me, who trusts me. The look of a friend, or maybe more. That's the look Virgo gave me so long ago. Am I afraid of you? No. So you see, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He only sees the worst in people, that's all. Thanks for everything. You're my friend, Eric. I can't stand by and watch someone hurt you without doing anything, can I? I guess not. We stay like this for a while, silent and against each other. Do you still want us to go on stage? I don't think so. I think I'd like us to go back to the castle. I don't really feel like singing anymore right now. It was Simon again who came looking for me this morning. He better exchange a few words before going to the temple. While discussing after the council was on warmer terms, I have not forgotten the way she spoke to me when our first talk. Our first walk. And something tells me she hasn't either. So it's in the most awkward silence that we make our way through the city to the temple. And now lasts the whole way staying silent. I've got to find something to say. To my astonishment, however, it is Simi himself who breaks the ice. So, Eric, do you manage to find your awakening gesture? No, but to be absolutely honest, I didn't really look for it. Really? It's important, you know? Yeah, but with the council and everything, it eventually got out of my head. Understandable, I guess. A new silence settles between us. It's not the most exciting walk I've ever been on, at least that much is clear. I wanted to apologize. For what? For my behavior during our last discussion. Wherever I think of the sight, I believe that being around him is a bad idea. She raises her hand, stopping me in the middle of my sentence. Wherever I think of him, it's not my place to judge your relationships, nor is it my place to judge you solely on the basis of who you choose to be around. I just want you to know 2 things. Honestly mean what I say. All sides are rotten to the core without exception. It's not their fault, not necessarily. That's the way they've been raised. And I also believe that your companion will one day reveal his true colors. I just hope it's not at your expense. Alright, thank you for the apology. I'll have to apologize too because I can't agree with you. Really? I think I understand your resentment. I can't even begin to imagine what you may have gone through before you came here. I know perfectly well that you understand Akhet and everything that's happening there better than I do. However, I know Akhet, and we talked about who he is, where he comes from. He told me about the things his father forced him to do. He was in tears, unable to speak, just trying to remember what he was forced to do, and broke him, Sammy. This is a case you talk about is something he rejects. It's not him, nor is it his nature. On the contrary, I would even say that it makes him sick. He's still sorry at the end of the day, my boy. Don't get me wrong, I understand you like him, and I don't doubt for a second that you're telling me the truth. I'm just asking you to be careful. I know what they are capable of, Eric, and I know that lies and manipulation are part of their arsenal. I've been through enough myself. I just wanted to warn you. I silence follows as Simi's last words echo in my head. She's not entirely wrong. Akhet himself explained to me what his people were willing to do to break a slave. I don't doubt for a second that deceit and manipulation are common practices for them. But Akhet himself, he can't even hurt a fly. I don't see what he would have to gain by lying to me. Not now that we know each other. He was nearly dead when I saved him. No, it's just Simi's past that makes her think like that. Even at the market, we met former slaves who told us about good science. I have no reason to worry. I don't risk anything by being polite. I'll be careful, but if I may ask, what is it that has caused you to change your opinion of me? I've had more time to understand you. I don't think you're a naughty boy. You're just a bit naive, shall I say. Thanks, I think. Fortunately, naivety is a flaw that is lost with experience. No doubt life at the court will fix that problem. The more I hear about it, the more I get the impression that the politics of the kingdom are more like a battlefield than a polite discussion about the best course of action. Because it's a battlefield where each side is trying to gain advantages while undermining those of others. It would be wise to quickly position yourself so that you can know who's an ally, who's an opponent. At this point, after the council, it's hard not to agree with Simi. As for where I stand, I'm not sure. Not yet. There's too much I don't know right now. But I better find out, and quickly. Before I can question Simi further, the temple and its training grounds appear before us, as this Vo is obviously awaiting our arrival. We hurry to him, and he gives us a brief nod. Lady Simi, Lord Eric. Lord Vo, as agreed, I brought you our little protege. Someone else will come for him in an hour. Someone else? Are you not waiting for me this time? Unfortunately, I have other obligations, but I'm sure you'll manage to get back without any problems. She bows to us and leaves, while I watch her go with a skeptical look. I wonder who is going to pick me up later. I got nothing against the royal guards, but the trip would be more pleasant with someone I know. Good, let's not waste any more time than necessary. Follow me. Without giving me time to answer, the priest heads off in the direction of the classrooms. Well, I see he's still in a great mood. I have a feeling we're going to have some fun. We take our seats in one of the rooms, and I barely have time to put my ass on a seat before I'm being verbally attacked. Well, show me, quickly. Show you what? Your awakening gesture, awaken your brain so we can get started. So yeah, about that, it's possible that for the moment, despite everything I tried, I haven't yet found the right gesture. Not yet, really? Have you even tried? There's no way I'm telling him I didn't look into it. He threw his hammer right in my face. Of course I tried. Not hard enough, obviously. Hey, my brain's different from everyone else's, so that could be a factor too, right? I don't see why. You just haven't practiced enough. Does he have beef with me now? What did I do to make him so sympathetic? Can't ask what's going on? You've never exactly been an example of cheerfulness, but I haven't done anything to deserve that kind of treatment. He lets out alongside as he runs a hand over his face. You directly opposed me during the council. You want to lock me in a temple for your safety and your duties. Don't you understand the importance of your brand and what it represents? Don't you forget that the brand you talk so much about is attached to someone? I'm a bard, the royal bard at that. It's also part of my responsibility to live freely in this world and to commemorate it through my songs. There are hundreds of bards. There's only one brand of NeveN. There may be hundreds of bards, but believe me, There's only one like me. That sounds a Suze. Damn it, we're not going to get anywhere if we keep this up. Okay, alright, I'm sorry. It was not my intention to make life difficult for you during the council. But I know myself well enough to know that locked up in here, it would only take me a few days to go crazy. So we can put this whole story behind us for now and focus on why I'm here in a civilized manner, I suppose, if possible. I guess it is. I apologize, my behavior was not worthy of the teacher I strive to be. Yeah, no need to worry. I'm used to pissing people off. Paul gives me a curious look, then he sighs. Anyway, let's get on with it. So he didn't manage to awaken your brain. No, I felt nothing at all, not even the slightest tickle. That happens sometimes. It's usually a complicated situation, but in your case, we may have a way around it. How so? Your brain has always been active in an uncontrolled way. Sure, that does not change the facts. Try to remember now. What were you doing when NeveN chose you? What did you do to make the power of time manifest? I don't really want to remember that day. It hasn't exactly been my favorite one in the last few weeks. But I don't really have a choice. I'm digging through my memory, looking for whatever I was doing before. Oh, I'm a big idiot. Well, is an awakening gesture necessarily a gesture? What do you mean? Can it also be something that is pronounced, words spoken out aloud? It's a possibility. I've seen brains activated by dance and sometimes even by playing instruments. There are as many ways to awaken a brain as there are to experience life. Right, I know what I have to do. It's what I do best, after all. It's time to sing. I take a deep breath and close my eyes for a moment to focus on my brain, and eventually it shapes appears in my mind once again. For some reason, as I open my mouth to sing, it is not the words of Frostfane's hymn that come to me, but my grandfather's old lullaby. Don't feel the hollow wind, nor the sorrows of your mind. 1,000 stars will shine, 1,000 more will smile. Here come organ and Alaria. Here come NeveN and Manasseh. There's no night without morning, and soon the sun will be soaring. When the last note echoes through the room, I feel as if the warmth run down my back. I don't need to see Vo's delighted look to understand what's going on. My brain is awake and glowing under my clothes. Its white circles now clearly visible through them. Magnificent. You are truly chosen by the gods, my boy. How fortunate for me to be able to witness such a manifestation of divine power. Tell me everything. Has the world changed for you? What is different? I'm feeling hot in the back, I guess. The priest looked at me with a most skeptical expression. What the fuck does he want? What the fuck does he want from me? I'm not going to lie just to satisfy his beliefs. I guess I was spending a little too much. Its true power will probably only be revealed when your brain is activated. So yeah, about that. Now that it's awakened, what exactly do I do? Fortunately, that part should be pretty similar to the training of a normal brain. Even you should be able to get results pretty quickly. Ignore that observation. Don't hit him. You'll probably get a chance to do that later. Yeah, I'm sure I'll have dozens of opportunities to retaliate. As I try hard to hold back the stream of insults burning my lips, each more inventive than the last, Vo reaches into his pocket to pull out the pebble from last time. Or another one. I mean, it's a pebble. I don't know how many he keeps in his pockets. It's usually an extremely odd thing to have with you at all times. Well, we'll use this to start with. Vo, I don't want to be negative or anything, but it's a pebble. I don't have a brain of Gawain. I can't do anything with it. I know I'm not senile yet, but that's not the point. According to the captain's report, your brain seems to have the ability to freeze things in time, to start objects as if they were not affected by anything. That's what we're going to try right now. I'll use my own brand to make the pebble float slightly. While you focus on it, I want you to use your powers to freeze it in the air. Alright, I understand the idea. However, we have a small problem. Really? I still have no idea how to activate my brand. Now that it's away, it shouldn't be too complex. Focus on the pebble. Imagine it motionless, frozen in place. It should come fairly naturally to you. I see he's still as clear as ever. So I just have to concentrate on that rock. I concentrate as I try. I suppose I can try. I don't risk anything by doing it, after all. It's the kind of silly, famous last words we tend to say before a certain death, but sure, everything is fine, Eric. So I put my eyes on the pebble and focus on it as far as I can. I'm not going to lie, right now I feel especially ridiculous. However, as I continue to stare at the rock, something starts to change. A white circle appears on the surface of the stone. It slowly rotates before my eyes. Almost unwillingly, my attention is drawn back to the circle. I tilt my head to one side as I watch the spinning ring, and I know that if I wanted to, I could force it to stop. As if it were one of my own limbs, I command the white circle to freeze, to halt its rotations. Immediately, it stops. I look at the pebble floating in front of me, motionless, and I wonder exactly what I've just done before I hear a clap next to me. Congratulations, well done. It's absolutely fantastic. I would expect nothing less from the bearer of the brown time. I'm not sure why. That's why I see his arms. There's no light under the pieces of metal that covers his brain. He is not using his powers. And yet the pebble still floats in the air, unmoving as if frozen in time. Exactly, my boy. Isn't it beautiful? The power of a forgetful one right there in front of our very eyes. It's impressive, but also a little frightening. How so? It was easy, too easy. Isn't it a bit scary to know that I can just freeze objects like that with just a look? Don't think this exercise represents a real situation. The stone wasn't moving, and it has no way of fighting you. Who knows if you can do the same as easily on a moving target or on a living being. Besides, this power, like all the others, is only frightening in the hands of someone who is willing to use it against his own. Tell me, is that your case? What? No. In that case, there's no need to worry. Let's simply rejoice that we can witness this God-given wonder. My gaze goes back to the motionless pebble in the air. I know I don't intend to use it on anyone, at least not to do harm. I know I don't. But I also know who I am, how I act when I'm hungry, when I'm angry. But I also know who I am, how I act when I'm angry. It wouldn't be the first time I hurt someone. How do I stop it? You only must will it. Your brain is part of your body. How do you move your arms or your ears? Reckoning is the complex part. The rest is just practice. But I also know who I am. How can I act? How I act when I'm angry. It wouldn't be the first time I hurt someone. How do I stop it? You only must will it. Your brain is part of your body. How do you move your arms or your ears? Awakening is a complex part. The rest is just practice. I focus again on the stone, and after a brief moment, it simply falls to the ground. While I feel the brain on my back fall dormant. At the same moment, a wave of fatigue hits me, along with a slight pain in my temple. What? No matter how hard I focus on the damn rock, Nothing happens. Vo even seems to be having fun and laughing at me as he spins it slowly. He's clearly not going to make it easy. Sorry, I just can't. The pebble is suddenly thrown in my direction. It hits me in the temple. Ouch. What are you? A complete moron? What kind of idea is that? I just wanted to check something. You never know. Your brain might activate passively like a rocker's. It doesn't seem to be the case. And you didn't fucking bother to warn me before throwing that in my face? Screw you. The pain disappears almost immediately, leaving me with this strange conversation in my head. I know it never happened, but at the same time I have an extremely clear memory of it. What the fuck was that? Whoa, you didn't throw that pebble at my face, did you? Of course I didn't. Why? Because nothing. It's just a feeling. I must be getting tired. Do we carry on with the train? Whoa takes a moment to look me up and down. No, the first activation can be tiring, as if you really see things that didn't happen. It's best to stop there. What? That's it? I'm not that tired. Yeah, I remind you that you also have the train with the captain of the Royal Guard. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Shit. You know what? We've actually made a lot of progress today. That's what I thought. So prepare something for tomorrow. Stick to your brain's awakening and try to make it dormant too. Nothing more, which means you should not even try to activate it. We still don't know your limits and I'd rather avoid any incident. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm planning to train with Akhet this afternoon, so I'll have ample opportunity to sing in order to awaken my brain. So, see you tomorrow? Yes, see you tomorrow. The boy seems to have lost all interest in me and starts mumbling unintelligible words as I leave. I guess my brain's powers really impress him. So I leave him to his thoughts as I head out to the city. Here I am with a power over time. Well, I can freeze a pebble. Sure, when you put it that way, it's not impressive, but who knows what I'll be able to do with a bit of practice. But I also know who I am. How can I act? How I act when I'm angry. It wouldn't be the first time I hurt someone. How do I stop it? You only must will it. Your brain is part of your body. How do you move your arms or your ears? Awakening is a complex part. The rest is just practice. I focus again on the stone and after a brief moment it simply falls to the ground. While I feel the brain on my back fall dormant. At the same moment, a wave of fatigue hits me along with a slight pain in my temple. What? No matter how hard I focus on the damn walk, nothing happens. Vo even seems to be having fun and laughing at me as he spins it slowly. He's clearly not going to make it easy. Sorry, I just can't. The pebble is suddenly thrown in my direction. It hits me in the temple. Ouch. What are you? A complete moron? What kind of idea is that? I just wanted to check something. You never know. Your brain might activate passively like a rocker's. It doesn't seem to be the case. And you didn't fucking bother to warn me before throwing that in my face? Screw you. The pain disappears almost immediately, leaving me with this strange conversation in my head. I know it never happened, but at the same time I have an extremely clear memory of it. What the fuck was that? Whoa, you didn't throw that pebble at my face, did you? Of course I didn't. Why? Because nothing. It's just a feeling. I must be getting tired. Do we carry on with the train? Whoa takes a moment to look me up and down. No, the first activation can be tiring, as if you really see things that didn't happen. It's best to stop there. What? That's it? I'm not that tired. Yeah, I remind you that you also have the train with the captain of the Royal Guard. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Shit. You know what? We've actually made a lot of progress today. That's what I thought. So prepare something for tomorrow. Stick to your brain's awakening and try to make it dormant too. Nothing more, which means you should not even try to activate it. We still don't know your limits, and I'd rather avoid any incident. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm planning to train with Akhet this afternoon, so I'll have ample opportunity to sing in order to awaken my brand. So, see you tomorrow? Yes, see you tomorrow. The boy seems to have lost all interest in me and starts mumbling unintelligible words as I leave. I guess my brand's powers really impress him. So I leave him to his thoughts as I head out to the city. Here I am with a power over time. Well, I can freeze a pebble. Sure, when you put it that way, it's not impressive, but who knows what I'll be able to do with a bit of practice. Wait a minute. Who really knows what I'll be capable of in the future? If I'm ever able to really change things, to go back or to go forward. Would that be a wise move? Should I do it? Could I? Could I stop myself from doing it? If necessary? By never. I was so caught up in my brand's awakening that I didn't take a second to think about what it meant to control time. No, stop. Let's focus and think, Eric. For now, you need to get back to the castle, find Gilead, and learn to swing your sword properly. The rest you'll see later. You start messing around with it. My thoughts are abruptly interrupted by the sudden encounter between my face and what appears to be a wall. However, as I look up, Akhet is in front of me, giving me the best dubious look. Oh, hi. You should look where you're going. I was lost in thought, trying not to make a habit of it. I'm doing my best. Why are you standing there? I was asked to come get you. Oh, I was expecting to send Seaman. He's busy. I see he's in a great mood today. I know he's never been one for long speeches, but his sentences are particularly short. I could try to ask him some questions to find out what's going on, but I'm starting to know the hunter. He'll only talk to me if he wants to talk to me. So we go back to the streets and I whistle as we walk, trying to fill this awkward silence. After a few minutes, however, Akhet speaks again. How did it go? Oh, with my brand. Well, you see, I'm not the dread of pebbles. I thought you had a brand of time. Vol made a small stone float and had to freeze it in place. And that's it. That's the extent of my power at the moment. I expected better than that, considering all the fuss everyone's making about you. This is just the beginning. I'm sure I can do better. Glad to see it's working then. The silence falls on us again, but this time I'm the one who breaks it. And you, how are you doing? You've never been overjoyed, but you seem particularly grumpy today. I don't know what you're talking about. And let out a long sigh as I stare at Akhet. It's only something that went wrong. Nothing serious, I hope. He shrugs. Stop asking questions. You're better off not knowing anything. You know that if you ever need help. I said stop. Okay, alright. The message got through. I was just trying to be nice. The rest of the trip is spent in uncomfortable silence. It is only when we arrive in sight of the castle gates that I hear Akhet's voice again. Go on by yourself. I have things to do. Alright. That's why I can't help but add. Hey, Akhet, are you sure you'll be okay? He doesn't turn back as he answers. Don't you worry about me. You have more important things to do. And then disappears into the streets and I head for the castle. I wonder what's wrong with him, exactly. I suspect it has something to do with what I overheard from his conversation with NeveN, but it's still strange. Fuck. I don't need to think about this on top of everything else. I should find Gilead. I'm sure healing stuff will relax me. As I arrive in front of the training room, I see Rowan and the captain talking in the hall. The former notices my presence and greets me with a nod. Looks like our students are on time after all. The panther turns to face me and nods as well. The student, I don't remember having sex with you, Rowan. but he's going to participate in your training today. I want to show you what a real fight with brands looks like, so you know what to expect. Oh, that's exciting. It was always impressed to see you fight the prince, so I can't imagine what it will be like with powers. But wouldn't that be a little nice? But would that be a little counterproductive? I mean, with your brand, I won't really get to see the use of Rowan's paw. The panther throws a bag at me, so hard it takes my breath away. Less questions, more observation, and be careful with the bag. It's our snack. I struggle so hard not to throw the bag back. You'll see, big guy, I'll get my revenge one of these days. As I think about my future payback, the captain takes the lead, but to my surprise is not to head to the training room. On the contrary, he is heading for the stairs. Where are we going? To the temple fighting grounds. Fighting in the castle is out of the question. For fuck's sake, I just got back. Besides, I have to give Rowan a chance to win. The snow leopard sneers as he follows close behind, and I have to hurry to match their pace. He doesn't like it when I use my spores, that's why he wants us to fight outside. You want spores? He looks at me with a most mysterious look. Yeah, right. Give yourself an excuse for when I kick your ass. Even though I'm doing my best to understand their bickering, I must admit I'm totally lost at the moment. But I know that the more questions I ask, the more bullshit wisdom Gillan is giving me. So I'm going to stay quiet and observe, just like he asked. Fortunately, they just have small talk the rest of the way. We finally arrive at the temple grounds where I first met Rowan. Stay here. You should be far enough away not to get hurt. That's reassuring. So I put the bag down, sitting next to it, in the hope that I can steal a little something when these two are busy beating each other up. Go ahead, I'm watching you. You better be, because that's what you're here for. They stand in front of each other, brandishing their weapons and observing their movements with an almost palpable determination. Gillian holds his great sword in both hands, while Rowan holds a regular straight sword in one hand, apparently using his free arm for balance. First, you will observe the effect of the brand of Harakar or another brand. Why that one in particular? The captain Sasi gives me the most jaded look I've ever seen. Because if our enemies want to capture you, they're probably going to need someone who will resist your powers. So you'll have to learn to be inventive if you want to get around the protection this brand gives us. Gillian then turns to Rowan. Go ahead. That's when I perceive the soft light of a brand glowing under the snow leopard's armor around his left thigh. A long vine emerges from under his arm guard that stretches along his hand as if it were a snake, and eventually the plant extends all the way to the other armored feline. Once in Gillian's vicinity, the tip of the vine instantly begins to dangle in the air. As he concedes, his control of the plant stops within my perimeter, but that doesn't make the plant disappear, and it doesn't break his control over the rest of the vine. I can see that, but how is he supposed to fight you then? I already told you, by being inventive. Rowan withdraws his vine and stands guard again. This time, however, the end of the plant clinging to his arms covered with huge thorns. He uses it as a whip by sending it in Gillian's direction. This time, although he loses control of the vine, the speed at which he attacks causes it to keep its momentum, forcing the panther to cut it with his blade. Rowan takes this opportunity to charge straight at the captain and strikes with his sword. The blade is deflected by the captain's weapon, who counterattacks, bringing his blade down on his opponent. The snow leopard suddenly retreats, and the tip of the panther's weapon jams into what appears to be wood covering Rowan's white forearm. Said wood thickens and covers the captain's blade, locking it. It doesn't look like Gillian's brand has the reach to prevent his opponent from using his powers. Got you. In that moment of hesitation from the panther, Rowan takes the opportunity to extend the vine hanging from his arm, laying out rows of brambles behind the captain without him noticing. But rather than drop his weapon, the captain approaches the snow leopard violently and tries to bite him in the throat. Caught in this tight hand-to-hand combat, having his short arm locked in place because of Gillant's blade without his powers, Rowan finds himself in a tricky situation against a much larger feline. A sudden realization then comes to me, just like when Mayborn was sparring with Gillant. I can sense that this whole exercise is more than just a friendly confrontation. It seems that war is both a passion and an art for them. I would even go as far as to say it's a lifestyle, and neither of them intends to lose. Abruptly, the ground gives way under their feet. A gaping hole is created just as Gillant manages to detach his sword from Rowan's arm. The rift that separates the two warriors is teeming with living roots, and that's when I realize that one of these roots leads to the heel of the snow leopard. Meanwhile, the captain has no time to realize the presence of the brambles under his paws as he backs up and steps onto them, letting out a grunt of pain mixed with surprise. Mother! Rowan gives him no time to swear and leaps over the rift to attack him at once. This forces Gillant to dance among the brambles, half limping from the thorn embedded in his palm. The shrill sound of steel rubbing against steel wings in my ears as the two felines exchange blows. I realize that Rowan's movements are getting slower, and despite his injury, the captain still seems to be in good shape. Is this the after effect of his blend? I vaguely heard of it before, but this is the first time I've seen someone get tired so suddenly. I also feel like Gillant's assaults are more violent. Gradually, his feline grace gives way to an almost bestial savagery. His great sword comes down on Rowan's weapon with force, and the latter falters, struggling not to lose his footing. Finally, with a flick of his wrist, the panther slides the tip of his blade under the hilt of his opponent's weapon, forcing him to drop his weapon or risk losing fingers. I was so close to winning. Yeah, right. That was so close to falling asleep. The captain CNC sits down to observe closely his injured paw. Your brambles are nasty. I told you I wouldn't if I could use my spores. Gillant looks in my direction and beckons me. Bring the bag. I have bandages in it. I get up, taking my time, drop the bag at his feet. Then he grabs what he needs to treat his wound. That's a lot closer than I thought it would be. That's because I trained him. You don't get to be a world guard without being one of the elites of this realm. Rowan leans towards me, pretending to whisper. You would never admit that the student can surpass his master sometimes. If you keep this up, I'm really going to kick your ass. I smile as I watch them tease each other. I must say it's a change to see Gillant like this. It's reassuring that way. He almost seems nice. Well, I hope you've been watching carefully. I don't intend to give a demonstration like that every time you have something to learn. I must say that was impressive, but what was I supposed to learn? I mean, besides the fact that you have to be inventive against a brand of a rocker, you need to keep in mind that someone who knows how to handle the brand is not to be taken lightly. And there are more dangerous people out there than Rowan and me, people who will come after you. Oh, Gillant, you tease. You're always ready to cheer me up in the best way, and you get used to it with time, I suppose. My gaze wanders to his paw wound, and I blink as I look in Rowan's direction. Fortunately, my mind catches up with me before I can ask any silly questions. It can't be easy to be immune to brand healing. Yeah, I don't miss much. Rowan is terrible at it anyway. It's not my fault it was hard to kill people and not to heal them. I check and try to get serious again when I see Gillant's disapproving look. Am I allowed to ask more questions, or are you going to lecture me? Not now. I don't intend to answer on an empty stomach. I check as the captain pulls out a long sausage from the bag, biting into it with a sigh of relief. So tasty. Once he's finished with a piece of meat, the captain clears his throat. So, what do you want to know? Well, I was wondering why the flames disappeared when you brought that banner the first time we met. I mean, Rowan's plans didn't disappear during your fight, he just lost control of them. The flames of a brand of organ need to be maintained by its possessor. They have no source, no fuel, so they simply disappear. Some brands have more advances than others against mine. Besides, I've been training against Argon's brands for a while, so that bull didn't stand a chance. Why do you train against these brands in particular? And my reasons, and one of them is that I have to fight tonight during our prince's birthday tournament. I fully intend to win, and I imagine he's also trying to beat me. Knowing his love of theatrics, I have no doubt that he will do his best to make this fight last. I sprawled on the ground with a sigh, relaxing at the touch of the grass tickling my ears. I'm already looking forward to it, and I'm also eager to be part of the show. Are you supposed to be singing to kick off the whole festival? Yes, and to top it all off, I'm also supposed to demonstrate my powers. Problem is, right now the only thing I know is how to freeze pebbles in time. Hey, you can do a lot of stuff with that. This is get the crowd to throw rocks at you while you block them all. I have a sudden vision of a rain of boulders falling in my direction. I think I'll practice to find something else. In the worst case, you'll always have that option. He grins, clearly amused by his little quip while Gilead finishes eating and stands up. Get up now. You had a demonstration, so it's time for you to work. Draw your sword. And just lying in the grass for the rest of the session was a bit too much to ask. Georgie Akhet, I think Gilead and Rowan are trying to kill me. Are you sure you're not overdoing it? Me? Overdoing it? Never. My training with 2 guards wore me out, and despite my many plays, neither of them agreed to carry me on the walk back to the castle. I will find a way to exact my revenge. There's no way I'm letting this go. Fortunately, I am now in a much more peaceful environment, but there's much more in my element. Akhet and I are in his room, firmly resolved to prepare ourselves as best as we can for Mabion's birthday and his opening song. On the contest, I can't just sing like I like. The choice of the song will set the tone for the rest of the festival. However, that's not quite where my mind is at the moment. And though I swear that the old bore wouldn't be able to be nice if his life depended on it. Is he really that awful? Blah blah blah. Your brand's a miracle of the gods and blah blah blah. You should pay more respect to it. Blah blah blah. The hawk wastes his talent to hide his smile, while I gesticulate, exaggerating my invitation to the priest. I'm going to see you doing better. Better? Compared to yesterday, after our meeting with NeveN, you were absent. Oh, yeah. He knows how to hit where it hurts, that's all. I guess he knows me pretty well in the end of the day. I should have done something sooner. No, it's not your fault. Plus, I must admit that it was a pleasant surprise to see you fly to my rescue. You were my favorite knight for a few seconds. I wink at him as he blushes and looks away, unable to hide his own embarrassed smile. For real, I'm not kidding. I'm really grateful for what you did and for what you said afterwards. I meant it, you know. I didn't say all that just to make you feel better. The Falcon dips his gaze into mine again, as if to prove to me that he's not lying. That's when I feel my heart leaving my chest. It shouldn't be allowed to be this adorable. No, let's focus. This is not the time. You'll learn new things anyway, right? That's the most important thing. I'd rather learn by having fun. I don't doubt it for a second. Unfortunately, life isn't that simple. Yeah, well, life could make an effort to be simple once in a while. Don't you think we'd end up bored if it was? Probably yes, but in that case, I feel like I have the right to complain. Well, I certainly won't stop you from complaining. And Akhet laughs again as he gently strokes the strings of his lute. You know, ever since I arrived here, I realized how different the Faustians and Mercadians are. And yet, as each day passes, I discover new things, new habits to learn, and new challenges to face. I feel happier here. It starts to feel like a true home. It's strange, isn't it? I'll probably never set foot in my country again, and I'm surrounded by strangers. Yeah, I'm the happiest I've been in years. I don't think it's strange. He turns to me with a surprised look. From what you told me, back home you had to hide who you really were. Here you embrace who you are. As long as you prove our usefulness, we can be whoever we want to be. That's always been the mentality in phosphine. It's not all positive, obviously, but I think for people like you and me, it allows us to focus on what we really love. I guess so, but I think it's also due to the people who support me now. I'm really glad I met you, Eric. Hey, me too, me too. My gaze lands in Akhet's once again, and for a brief moment I feel the almost irresistible urge to kiss him, here and now. I have two problems though. The first is that I have no idea how I'm supposed to do that with someone who has a beak. The second half is the one that really stops me from kissing him. When we're facing each other, his look is identical to Viggo's. And I can't help but wonder, all these things I feel for the Falcon, is it really for him, or just because he reminds me of my former musician? This idea cuts me off from doing anything. I refuse to do that to Akhet. If I ever want to go further with him, I want to be sure it's for the right reasons. This moment passes and an awkward silence settles between us. It is finally Akhet who plays it as he plays a few notes with his lute. So, do you have any idea what we could do for our first act as royal bards? I'm almost sorry, glad that the birds offered me this escape. I have a few. I think we obviously want something warlike, considering how they like it here. Plus, it'll give our favorite prince in armor an occasion to show he's a warrior first and foremost. Also, I want to give you a solo. It'll give you a chance to sign it as well, while focusing on waiting to start my brand. Are you planning on incorporating it in our musical act? Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Aeon practically ordered me to show my powers in public. And do you have any ideas on how to do that? Not yet. All I can do is freeze a little rock in the air. It's not exactly impressive, but with practice, I'm sure I'll figure something out. In the meantime, I'll send you some of my ideas. If you like any of them, we can always go with that for now. Perfect. I'll listen carefully then. And during the next few hours, I sing him several songs from my repertoire, which, at least in my opinion, fit with what we were asked to do. I can't accept or reject some of them, and we work that way for the rest of the day. From time to time, I take advantage of being in the middle of the singing to awaken my brain, which does not fail to attract Akhet's attention since he is always amazed by what he sees. It would seem that any sound will do as an awakening gesture. That's good to know. We eventually stop when we both start to get tired. As I glance out the window, I can see the sun is starting to set. Well, what have we been here? Well, we'll have been there longer than I thought that we would. We were immersed in our work, after all. Is it really work if it's what I like to do? Akhet happily smiles before stretching with a yawn. Looks like you had enough for today. Sorry, it's just that. Don't worry, my eyelids are getting heavy too. A little rest won't hurt, especially if we do this again tomorrow. Akhet nods silently. We then go downstairs to eat, and the rest of the evening goes as peacefully as possible, which I'm not going to complain about. This day is tiring enough as it is. That's why once I get into bed, I collapse and close my eyes as I sink like a stone into slumber. Vol stares at me with authority, and I return defiantly. I'm absolutely on my knees. I'm aching all over. What the fuck did Gillant do to me? I see you look perfectly awake today. Yeah, yesterday was a rough day. Painful but full of things to learn. Have you ever trained with your brain like I asked you to? I tested my awakening gesture. It works with other songs too. Perfect. Today we have some experimenting to do. Experimenting? I'm not sure if I like that word in this context. I haven't forgotten that he crushed his own hand with a hammer the first time we met. The incident at the end of our lesson yesterday gave me something to think about. The incident? You mean the thing I hallucinated? Exactly, because if it didn't actually happen, what you described to me is something I considered. You consider throwing a pebble in my face? And necessarily, yes. Pain or panic can sometimes be useful in unlocking someone's powers. The urge to let them, the urge to tell him to fuck off is very, very, very strong. So what was the idea? To throw more rocks at me to see how angry I can get? No, but I wonder if there's another component to Never's power. What do you mean? Activate your brand. It will be clearer with an example. I gave him a doubtful look. I wish he would explain to me clearly he has in mind. I have moderate confidence in his ability to teach me anything without pain. But I eventually hum a little tune, then the soft warmth of my brand awakened my back. Each time it feels easier and more natural. I wonder how long it will be before I can do it without the awakening gesture. Meanwhile, Vo slowly raises his signature pebble above his palm. Let's repeat yesterday's training. Freeze that stone again. I guess we can say that training is my first stepping stone. It looks like my pun does not reach Vo as he observes me with the same old authoritative look. Yeah, definitely my most difficult audience. I focus on a small stone floating in the air and the white circle appears almost immediately this time. Gradually, I stop its movement while Vo puts his own brand to sleep until the stone remains completely frozen in time. Perfect, you can stop. That's it? I thought we were going to experiment. Oh, we are. Don't worry. Okie dokie. I start focusing on the floating pebble and it immediately falls to the ground. A few moments later, I feel a sharp pain in my cheek while once again the events that never happened in my mind. I'm not sure what's going on. I managed to do it yesterday without any problems. I look at the stone that continues to turn slowly under the impulse of Vo's brand. No matter how hard I stare at it, it doesn't seem to stop moving. I suppose some extra motivation may be needed. Before I can finish my sentence, Vo comes up to me and slaps me as hard as possible. What the? Are you a lunatic? Watch your language. I raise my hand against my cheek, but the pain is gone just as quickly as it appeared. What's happening? You saw something, didn't you? What? Just now, you saw something. Describe it to me. It's a bit like yesterday. I didn't activate my brand. You fucking slapped me. Calm down and don't forget it never happened. Whoa, what's going on? By the gods, what's happening to me? Yeah, another proof of the greatness of said gods and generosity of their gifts. And what does this mean exactly? I told you, I think your power has two aspects. The first is to freeze things to stop them as if time is no longer affecting them. The second allows you to experience the world as it would exist without your power. You see what would have happened if you had not used it. You can see two possibilities, a world that is and as well as a world that could have been. So what? Every time I activate my brand, I'll see two versions of what's happening around me? It would seem so. How exactly does that help me? I don't know yet, but there's no doubt that if NeveN offers you this power, it has a deeper meaning. Yeah, but wait a second, that means you intend to slap me. Even if you didn't, and yesterday you were really going to throw that pebble at me. Pain can sometimes trigger a brand. That's how I learned to use mine. Yeah, well, I didn't. I don't work like that, so you forget that all of a sudden, immediately, hit me again and I'm out here. I don't think you understand your situation, so I'm going to be extremely clear. Vo approaches me, towering over me as he awakens his brand, making the metal on his arms vibrate. The council may not have found it necessary to place you entirely in the custody of the temple, but during the hours you spend here, you are under my care. I have the right to use any method I deem necessary to teach you. You have no say in the matter, not one word. Don't forget that the decision of the council can always be reversed. We can demand again that our kings lock you elsewhere. One day, once you master your plan, you'll be NeveN's chosen one, the god's representative of Telson. But for now, you're just an insolent boy caught in the middle of matters that he doesn't understand. He plunges his gaze into mine as I try to stand up to him. The boy's more than impressive like that, but there's no way I'm going to let him walk over me. I'm not nearly as stupid as you seem to think I am, and I'm perfectly aware of my situation. But that doesn't mean I'm planning to let you beat me up because you think that's the best way to learn. I'm not nearly as stupid as you think. I'm not nearly as stupid as you seem to think I am, and I'm perfectly aware of my situation. But it doesn't mean I'm planning to let you beat me up because you think that's the best way to learn. And indeed, I need the temple's help for this. The temple, not your help specifically. Do you really think our kings or prince Mabion will approve of your methods? There are other teachers out there. We stare at each other for a moment, and the silence between us is quickly becoming oppressive. It is, however, Vol who yields first. So be it. I suppose I have approached this whole situation with the wrong state of mind. It seems that I need to reconsider some of my methods. I am glad to see that we are in agreement. However, I demand in return that you respect the sanctuary. I'm here to teach, and you are here to learn. No more jokes, no more insolence. Got it. That shouldn't be too difficult. Not to mention that I never wanted to piss off the priests. But I do need to set some balance and quickly. I'm tired of being demeaned at the slightest opportunity. Let's start again. We will now see how long you can keep your brain active. I eventually settled into a daily routine. In the morning, brain training with Vo. In the afternoon, rehearsal with Akhet. Every other day I had to learn how to fight with Gileon and some other guards. The mornings are clearly the most interesting parts of my day. With each session, the priest and I discover new characteristics of my brain and its possibilities. This is especially true when it comes to my limits in terms of time of use. 1 minute of activation is my maximum, and at least for now. After that, I'll just find myself on the ground, panting and exhausted, unable to activate my brain until I've had some time to rest. Vo then wanted to know if I was capable of freezing more than one thing at a time. To my surprise, the answer is yes. It turns out that I'm able to stop not one, not even two, but 3 small stones at a time. It's difficult, but I can do it. Then came the question of the size, and that's where things got a little more complicated. At first we found I could not stop rocks that were more than half my size, and we both thought that was a limit. However, presumably, to test his theories out to change the medium, Vo asked me to freeze in time a huge scroll or parchment fully unrolled. It was much larger than me. I had no problem doing it. We experimented further, and we reached a conclusion. My limit is not a question of size. It's a question of weight. I can freeze 80 kilograms more or less. For the rest, we mostly spent a lot of time working on my endurance and my speed to activate my brain, in between rest periods to allow me to recover. I never thought that using a brain could be so tiring. I'm also starting to get used to the visions that appear to me every time I deactivate it. At least they allow me to make sure Vo keeps his promise since he never hit me in any of them again. I also keep my promise to be quiet as best I can. Sometimes it's really hard not to say anything. The rehearsals with Akhet are also going well. Our styles are blending nicely. We now have a few songs ready for the festival. We're exchanging ideas about how to best use my brain, but so far nothing conclusive. These rehearsal sessions, however, do not help in clarifying how I feel about Akhet. I keep seeing vigor in him, but at the same time, they are so different, and I don't want to risk talking about it. So, 2 weeks pass in relative peace until finally my sleep is disturbed by someone knocking on my door early in the morning. Looking out my window, I can see that the sun has only just risen. It's way too early for my training with Vo. This better be important. So I open my door, run into one of the castle servants and give him my gloomiest look. What? Lord Eric, You are needed for the council meeting. Urgently. Excuse me? King Lesson and King Aeon await you and ask you to hurry as much as possible. It's too early for so much information. Wait, a council meeting? Why? I'm afraid their majesties have not passed on this information to me. If I may, my lord, I still need to inform Lord NeveN. He then salutes me and runs off down the corridors. What's going on? There's only one way to find out. I guess just as quick as I can before heading for the council chamber. The castle's inhabitants are still asleep at this hour, and I walk through mostly empty and silent hallways until I hear light footsteps ahead. After turning the corner of the hall, I'm pleased to see Akhet standing right in front of me. We have no reason to be suspicious. She was on my side during the last council. After all, she may have changed her mind about me. Lady Akhet, hello. Lord Eric? Answer the person stutter when I hear her reply. No, she still hasn't forgiven me. Do you know why we have been summoned so early in the morning? No more than you know. No more than you do. But that shouldn't be hard to guess. Really? Isn't it obvious? We have no doubt we'll see a reply from Akhet regarding awakening in the attack on the diplomats. I almost stumbled as I listened to her. I obviously haven't forgotten all of that, but I've done all I can to push it to the back of my mind. I have more urgent things to think about. But right now, I realize that war is closer than it seems. I see that you understand the importance of this meeting. I suppose my concerns made evident by my expression. Therefore, I trust that you will be sensible this time. We do not need the nonsense of a boy right now. I don't think I was nonsensical during the last council meeting. It's true, and that was a pleasant surprise. Before I can answer, we arrive in front of the council chamber where the royal family is already waiting for us. Akhet bows to salute our monarchs as I do the same. King Lesson and Aeon, Prince Mabion. Hi. I can almost hear Akhet growl as he stares at me in outrage. It's possible for me to be serious without fundamentally changing who I am, so I hope she will learn to appreciate my casualness. The kings wait for us to sit down, then Aeon lays his wrote scroll in front of him. Meanwhile, Mabion nods at me with a worried look. The urge to strike up a conversation with him is strong, but something tells me this is neither the place nor the time. NeveN and Vo soon arrive and take their places while Aeon wastes no time in starting the discussion. I'm not going to ramble on for hours. I think you all know why we are here. Akhet has sent a response to what has been happening lately. Is this good news? Yes and no. Let's say it's strange, to say the least. How so? The quickest way to show you what I mean is to read their message, Aeon. The tiger stretches out his hand and unrolls the scroll before him. King Aeon, the living shadow, blah blah blah. The news of the loss of our diplomat convoy is most distressing. Good Anthrokins have died in this misadventure, and their loss weighs heavily on us all. Your prompt response to conversation I most appreciate. It will be distributed among the families of the victims. It will probably not help them to grieve, but we hope it will ease their pain a little. We would also like to assure you that we do not hold the Frostfang Kingdom responsible for this incident. As you have stated in your letter, this is an animal attack and no kingdom can foresee such an event. We therefore agree to put this unfortunate incident behind us and hope to maintain our good relations in the future. His Majesty the God King, blah blah blah. A silence follows the reading of the letter. They don't blame us for what happened. That's a rather good thing, isn't it? Theoretically, it is, but it's not normal behavior at all. Can we just accept that things have changed? This is not the same leader as during the last war. That's not the problem. If they say they would like to maintain good diplomatic relations, not reacting at all is more than suspect. I would have expected a delegation to be sent to verify our claims at the very least. That's what I would have done anyway, but here, nothing. They accept our version of events without any conditions. There's something behind it. Or are they simply afraid of the presence of NeveN's chosen one in our nation? I understand Akhet well enough to know that it will take more than that to scare them, not to mention that no matter how trained Eric is, he is still a mere individual. I know that one person, even with his powers, will not be enough to take on a nation. That can only mean one thing. There's something else that holds their attention, so much so that they don't want to react at all to such an incident. But we haven't heard anything specific about what's happening in Akhet at the moment, have we? Nothing out of the ordinary, except for some preposterous rumors, but I can find out more if my lords rest. NeveN will take care of it. Then, and we also sent some scouts to see if we miss anything happening near our borders. What could worry them more than our kingdom? We have been enemies for as long as we have existed. Is the problem with the slaves? That's most likely, but there are other possibilities that should not be ignored, especially now that your brand exists. What are you? Oh, another forgetful one could have branded someone in the nation, right? Without us noticing anything, NeveN's brand was quite impressive when it appeared. They have the means to conceal this kind of information. Depending on who bears such a plan, it could cause major problems. Not to mention the importance of God. Of course, NeveN offers us great possibilities, but if Tess also brings someone. Gentlemen, my lady, let's not get carried away. This is all hypothetical, but now we should just enjoy the good news. Akhet has no additional hostility towards us. Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, NeveN. This news is only good in the short term, if indeed Akhet is up to something. But there's nothing we could do about it right now, is there? Except wait for news from the scouts. Staying alert is a necessity. If something is happening, we need to know as soon as possible. If the training remains our priority, how's it doing? For now, Eric. Extremely well. There's no way I'm going to let Vol speak for me. I'm getting better at activating my brand, and I'm beginning to understand its limits and possibilities. So we'll be able to see a demonstration soon. I will give you a show at the festival, my king, to you and to the whole kingdom. I'm beginning to get an idea of what I could do. I don't like it, far from it, but I know it will impress them. Aeon nods before speaking again. We ask you to keep your eyes open and try to find out what's going on. Discreetly if possible. We don't need our neighbor to know that we suspect something. A new moment of silence settles. And regarding the attack itself, have we made any progress? Not really. We were able to confirm that all the wounds were from animal bites and claws, but how they managed to defeat armed guards remains a mystery. Not to mention that there was a noticeable presence of several different animals that don't usually live together. Our best lead at the moment is the theory of a group of animals trying to attack, by whom and why remains a mystery. So it has nothing to do with me? Unless someone was able to predict the awakening of your plan, probably not. Training wild animals can take a while. There's something else behind it. Is it possible that someone's trying to seal tension between Frostfang and Akhet? I know this is something that happens a lot in stories. We are not in a story. It's not entirely wrong. If someone was really trying to steal the already smoldering hostility between our nations, this would be a way to do it. In that case, the only possible culprit would be Kazal, and there is only one of their envoys in the kingdom who can organize something of this magnitude. Tanakh, please don't make me laugh. His specialty is organizing parties, not assassinations. Hey, Tanakh is not nearly as stupid as you seem to think. As this sentence escaped my lips, I realized that this wasn't necessarily the best way to defend my friend. I'm pretty sure I just accused him of setting this up. I agree with Eric on this point, Lord Vol. You should stop underestimating him. But I would add that Kazal has no vested interest in this conflict. We have been working towards a lasting alliance with them for years now. So we have no idea what's going on. Aeon listens carefully as he runs his hand over his face. I don't intend to stay in the dark for long. We will double the number of active scouts that search each tree in the forest as necessary. We are bound to find some traps if someone lives there with trained animals. But now I recommend caution. There are many factors we don't know about, but that doesn't necessarily mean there are problems. Let's not react too quickly. The rest of the council is going smoothly. I had the opportunity to participate in some discussion about the organization of the festival, thus I give an artistic opinion from time to time. However, I can feel a weight getting heavier and heavier as the day progresses. I'm unable to say why. I progress to train to I progress I train and discuss, but my heart is not in it. It's only when I'm rehearsing with Akhet that the reason for this feeling is made clear. We came within a risk of going to war over a single incident until this letter came. It was a possibility. If that ever happened, I would cease to be a board and become a weapon. So far, I've mostly seen my training revolt and gill out as ways to defend myself or to learn to use my capabilities, but it could become ways to attack someone, to fight in the army. And while I've always known that was a possibility, this is the first time I've understood how real it can become with the snap of a finger. My gaze falls on a cat sitting next to me, playing his lute, and my heart squeezes again. On top of everything else, my feelings for him don't help to calm me down. I still can't tell if my feelings are directed at him or at what I see in him. Things that remind me of Virgo. I need this day to end. I need to sleep and put this behind me. As soon as Akhet and I are done, I'm off to throw myself into bed. It's still early, but that's okay. I just want to let this day be over. And for once, I like to dream, to take my mind off of all these thoughts, to dream of something sweet. I close my eyes and let the fatigue take me away. I find myself in a bed, another bed, wide, comfortable. I'm not alone. Someone is behind me, holding me tenderly against him. Who? No one, just someone. Someone who cares about me, someone who worries about my well-being, someone who wants me to be happy. I snuggle up to him and gently rub my hair against his chest, my eyes closed. I'm content to enjoy his presence, and he seems to enjoy it just as much as I do, as his arms slowly close around me. I let myself get lost in the sensations, his fur against mine, as he slowly caresses my chest. Gradually, his hand carefully moves up my neck, sending shivers down my spine. He eventually strokes my muzzle, his fingers gliding over my fur. I feel him resting his muzzle on my head, sliding in between my ears, and as he sighs with relief. His voice was soft, almost purring. His voice sounds soft, almost purring. Hello, sweetheart. Wait. Before I could say his name, his hands tightened around my muzzle, forcing me to keep it set. Once Virgo here. This was supposed to be a sweet moment. I wanted to relax. It's not fair. It's not fucking fair. I'm struggling, trying to get out of his grip to no avail. Shh. Come on. Calm down, sweetheart. You know I would never hurt you. And I will always be there for you. I know you're not doing well right now. You have a lot of pressure on you. So I came to help you and support you because I love you. I'm the best lover in the world, after all. That's what you used to say to me, right? Those were the days, you and me against the world, hand in hand, never without each other, the little terrors of Scorner. And then you left, and you abandoned me. I groaned louder. I want to wake up, but I can't. I'm stuck here with him, with this distorted vision of Virgo. But that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I know you had to go. How could you stay after all you've done? I also know how you feel about your pretty bird. I freeze that I feel a shiver of fear run through my body. Well, I'm not jealous. I know what's going on, as do you, and so do you. It's not him you're attracted to, not really. It's just what you see of me and him. And isn't that a proof of your love? You miss me so much that you look for me in other people. And that's normal. After all, we both know that I'm the only one who really loves you. I'm the only one who can accept you in all that you've done. My liar. My thief. Before I realize what comes next, don't say it. Please, 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 don't say it. My murderer. Tears are running down my cheeks. It's not true. I never wanted. I flare and howl into the pod that silences me, unable to run away or know what's happening. A sudden thud resonates and I find myself alone in my bed in tears. Awake. The noise sounds again, and that's when I recognize that it is someone knocking on my door. Eric, are you alright? Akhet? You're making a lot of noise. I thought I heard you didn't sound fine. Wait, give me a second. I run my hands over my face and feel my fur soaked with tears. Oh, fuck. I can't let him see me like this. Pull yourself together, damn it. Do something. Eric, I worry, will you let me in, please? The word is more than noticeable in his voice, damn it. I can't ignore it. I let go. I get up to the door. I get to open the door for him, and there, facing me, is a worried and tired Falcon. Things by Tesla. Eric, what happened? Is it that bad? Did he cry? What's the problem? Did someone do something? Is it Sven again? No. It's just a bad dream, that's all. You see, there's no need to worry about me. No, Eric, you look devastated. Alright, really? Do you want to talk about it? For a second, I almost say no to him and leave this nightmare behind, and then Vagel's voice briefly entered my head. My murderer. Yeah, I think I want to talk about it. I open the door to let Akhet through. We both sit on my bed. Now silence falls between us. I want to talk. I want to explain things to him, but where to start? Where to? You say you had a bad dream. Oh, I've told you a little about Vegel, haven't I? Your old musician? You told me he was your best friend. He was a little more than that. I gently caressed the base of my finger that, for a few weeks, had worn a ring. We were together, really together, in it badly. I said and did things I regret. And now I'm just reliving it all. Oh, Eric. On top of that, you look so much like him. You really remind me of him. And I don't know if what I'm feeling is just because of that or if it's because of who you are. I'm afraid of hurting you too. I don't want that. I don't want to hurt anyone. What are you feeling exactly? I'm attracted to you. I really like you, but I don't know. I don't know if it's you or Viggo that I see when I look at you. I feel the tears rolling down my cheeks again. Shit, I'm not supposed to act like this. I'm not a fucking kid anymore. Eric, can I tell you a story? What? I promise it will help you. Alright, I guess you can try. Once upon a time, there was a young Syed. He was different from the others. He was not strong, nor brave, nor cruel. He was good and a bit naive. His father eventually chased him away from home. He sent him to a lonely old father who lived near the border. The father was different. He liked the fact that the Syed was not like the others. He treated him like his own son, whom he had lost long before they met. One day for his birthday, the father received a new slave, an antelope named Sago. He was clearly not like the other slaves. He spoke without asking permission. Sometimes he even allowed himself to answer without being asked to. In a way, he was a lot like you. He annoyed a lot of people, but the father liked him. And the Syed, I liked him too. I loved him. It was not particularly hard to guess that Akhet is talking about himself, especially now knowing his past, but I am still surprised to hear him acknowledge it. However, I don't dare interrupt him. We stayed together for a year. No one knew about it except the father. I was really happy during that year. But the father had a daughter who hated me, who probably still hates me. She eventually found out about our relationship, and she did the first thing She could have hurt me. Sego was given to her family. I don't know which one. He disappeared almost overnight. I don't know what has become of him. I don't know. I don't even know where he is. Akhet is quiet now. His voice is trembling slightly. I don't know how to react. I want to take him in my arms to reassure him, but I don't care. And then I fled here and met you. At times you remind me so much of Sego that it hurts me. You say things that he would have said to me. You laugh in the same way he did. When I started to have feelings for you, I think that was the only reason you remind me of what I lost. And then I realized that I also love everything that was unique to you. The way you prickle your muzzle when you don't like what's going on, the way you grumble when a little thing annoys you, the way your ears always give away where your attention is focused, how your whole body and face light up with happiness as soon as you start to sing. You lift a claw to gently caress my cheek. I love you for who you are. Your resemblance to Seiko is what drew me in at first, but that's it. So, ask yourself the same question. What do you really like about me? What do I like about him? All I can think of is what he has in common with Vigo, the look he gives me, and the way he sometimes loses his words as he hesitates to speak, his love of music as well. And then I start thinking about other things, the tenderness he has for his lute, the way he hides his beak when he tries to laugh quietly. His attempts to defend me even against opponents he attempts to defend me even against opponents against whom he can do nothing. He's cowards when he faces Gillian. I smiled despite my tear-stained muzzle and mimic Akhet's gesture gently across his cheek. I could see him smile as his eyes light up. I'm sorry, I should not have told you earlier. I didn't say anything either. I smile at him again, then I bite my lip. I have one more question to ask. You know, I'm dying to kiss you, but I haven't the faintest idea how to do it with your beak. Akhet freezes for a moment before laughing as he tries to hide his beak behind his tongue. I'm sorry, it's just that for once it looks like I have the most experience. I'll show you. He smiles at me and pulls his head. It's a little different, but that's how we used to do it with Sego. He winks, then closes his eyes as he gently rubs his beak against my muzzle. It's not exactly a kiss, but I can't deny that it's sweet, and in a way, it's pretty intimate too. Okay, you're staying here for the night, right? I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. To be continued. Hello, everyone. This is where this month's chapter ends. We hope you enjoyed this part of the story. If you want more information about NeveN, feel free to follow us on Twitter. We also have a Discord, allowing you to chat among community members. Finally, if you would like to support our project, we also have a Patreon that offers you a series of benefits such as bills 2 weeks in advance, but also unique stories about the characters of NeveN. If you like the VN, please also feel free to rate us on Itch.io. It will help us a lot. Once again, thank you all. Thank you all so much. I'll see you next time for the next chapter. That was chapter 3. So apparently, Eric and Akhet have something in common. They see their former exes in each other. Eric sees Vigo in Akhet, and Akhet sees Sego in Eric. And both their exes were both Sego and Eric were outspoken and always talk about permission or always did things without etiquette or all that. They were just more outgoing, more outspoken. That's very sad that the girl that the man he was staying with decided to tell his father about Akhet's relationship with Sego because the girl didn't like him. So Vigo is still heavily on Eric's mind about what he did. and the fact that he did something to hurt Viggo. I don't know if he said something mean or did a bad prank on him or revealed something about Viggo that if he revealed something about Viggo to the town or to the reason that Viggo kept secret and it ruined his life so much that Eric left. I hope soon we'll learn more about the relationship. We'll learn more about how the relationship between Viggo and Eric left. And about Akhet, apparently the kings and the council do not completely trust the letter Akhet gave. It was a found falsifying not to be responsible for the deaths of their diplomats. It's something unusual about Akhet that they would resort to a peaceful way of handling the issue of the ambassadors being killed. And they think that this is kind of ulterior motive from Akhet. So that story that Akhet told about Sago, really puts it really is just another example of the slave system in Akhet, because they can just transfer you to somebody else, and you get transferred to another family, and your foreign master could be done with you just like that, and the person you were with was a cat won't be able to see you ever again. So it's a wicked system that Akhet relies on. Well, yes. And that's a big reason why Akhet decided to come to Phosphor to escape that legacy he has from himself and his family, so he can start something new. So it looks like Eric is starting to use his powers, get more acclimated to his powers. Apparently he can also see time and see what would have been if he didn't do something. Like he can see reality in what could have been reality if he didn't do something. In that story that he talked about with Vol, that's what seems to have done it for Eric, in him being able to awaken his power. So that's all for NeveN. All the information for the game is in the description box below. Thank you all very much for watching. Bye.